I'm a Sagittarius man, right? As a man, it's my birthday. I have to understand what is the cause and effect of some shit. Because you will see a situation 6 months after a situation.
You wanted the gang, you should have just asked for it.
Back to Saweetie, I think he was definitely talking about my set.
Y'all, it's looking like somebody got left off of Bad and Bougie because Quavo and Offset might be back at each other's throats, and this time the internet is convinced it's over Saweetie. Now, the official story is that Offset was just talking about life, growth, and cause and effect on Joe and Budden's podcast. But the unofficial story, that man basically just said, yeah, smash out the industry, and let the streets connect the dots back to the very icy ex of his cousin. And then, like clockwork, people started pulling out the old Quavo receipts, the messy lyrics, the shade, the interviews, and realizing that just maybe this alleged betrayal was the crack that broke the Migos for good. Now, given the fact that these men were family, not just friends, not just co-workers, but basically blood, you'd think that they would have drawn the line somewhere. But no, if the rumors are true, then Offset crossed the line you cannot uncross. And now, word on the curb is that Quavo didn't just get mad, he acted. And if that's true, then we're looking at a whole new chapter in the Migos Cold War, one that might get real bad and bougie. Hooking up T with a Uzi. So let's break this down. Okay, y'all, so Offset walked into that Joe Budden interview looking like he had nothing to prove. He was calm, cool, and collected, wearing that unbothered energy like a chain. But the second the conversation turned to relationships, hurt feelings, and cheating up or down, he started dropping gems that had the streets perking up their ears.
I'm a Sagittarius man, right? As a man, it's my birthday. I have to understand what is the cause and effect of some shit.
Translation, this man is basically saying he knows exactly why Cardi's out here with Stephon Diggs, because he's done her dirty more times than the internet can count. And of course, Joe Budden couldn't help himself cutting in with the messiest receipts of all time.
If me and Mel are together and I cheat on her and I go get
some
or
and then I end up with
somebody that's
Idris.
But y'all, he reminded the world that Offset's roster was not a short one. And yes, Saweetie's name came right up alongside Krishan Rock and Ari's.
Because you will see a situation 6 months after a situation. You see what I'm saying? You'll see some shit. Because it's outside, I'm in a public situation, so you gonna see it when you see it, and then your opinion come then.
Y'all, it looked like he wasn't denying nothing, just letting it hang in the air for everybody to connect the dots. It was this wink energy that I said what I said without ever actually saying it.
Nothing that I left went up, so I don't know how to experience.
But the time Joe was done, it felt less like an interview, more like a confessional. Not Father Pope Budden. Well, the way that Offset kept it vague, never confirming but never shutting it down, made it clear. If the rumor mill wants to run wild, he's not about to stop it. And that's, y'all, where the streets start asking questions. Cause if Offset's cool with playing Timothy on the camera, how close are we to Quavo stepping in off camera? Now, the downfall of Quavo and Saweetie was as much a breakup as a full-blown reality show without the cameras, except for the ones in the elevator. We're talking elevator scuffles caught on TMZ, the infamous Bentley repo, and the subtweet sharp enough to slice diamonds.
In a recent video released by TMZ, the rappers are involved in a full-on physical scuffle while on an elevator. The surveillance footage was caught on camera at an apartment complex in North Hollywood.
Bling bling. But by late 2022, Quavo wasn't just throwing shade, he was dumping the whole iced out tree on her. Do y'all remember that messy track with Takeoff? Yeah, it wasn't exactly subtle. I said, Carisha, please, cause she too messy, please. BF my dog behind my back, but I ain't stressing, not at all. You wanted the gang, you should've just said it. We would've blessed it, should've just said it. Y'all, the moment that bar dropped, the internet turned into a crime lab. X threats, YouTube breakdowns, Reddit theories. Everything was playing Guess the Dog. And every finger pointed straight at Offset. Should've just said it. But here's the logic.
You wanted the gang, you should have just asked for it.
Back to Saweetie, I think he was definitely talking about my set he say on the song, cousin. gang is referring to Migos. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Somebody in the gang.
Yeah, so gang means Migos, and gang means somebody in the family. Suddenly it all clicked. The tension, the cold shoulders, the split. Quavo and Takeoff were out here doing their own thing. Offset was left in his own lane. And that one verse explained more about the Migos breakup than any press release ever could. Because if the dog was really Offset and the gang really was Migos, this wasn't just messy. This was a kind of betrayal that you don't squash over a couple of diss tracks. And as y'all know, Offset and Quavo aren't just rap buddies, they're cousins. And fans girl past to present without that blessing. So when whispers started swirling that Offset and Saweetie hooked up, it wasn't just gossip, it was a direct hit to the Migos brotherhood. But the timeline is where it gets even more damning, because before the breakup ever went public, TMZ dropped a bomb elevator footage from an apartment complex in North Hollywood.
Him dodging the hit, and the two going toe-to-toe over what seems to be an orange Call of Duty case. The fight continues inside the elevator, with Quavo dragging her inside, Saweetie taking a spill and seemingly being injured, while the Migos rapper does nothing to help her. At one point, he seems to realize the camera has recorded their altercation, but still does nothing to assist Saweetie, who is still on the ground. This video, which apparently happened in 2020, is a shocking turn of events, which comes on the heels of news of their breakup.
It was disturbing to watch. It ends with him leaving her on the ground while he just stood there, allegedly injured. And just weeks later, Saweetie tweeted, "I'm single. I've endured too much betrayal and hurt behind the scenes for a false narrative to be circulating that degrades character. Presents don't band-aid scars, and the love isn't real when the intimacy is given to other women." Now, before you think that Quavo tweeted an apology for what he did on camera, he fired back at Saweetie saying, "I had love for you and disappointed you did all that. You were not the woman I thought you were. I wish you nothing but the best." So yeah, cheating rumors went into overdrive. Then came the online grenade. Stylist Khalil, better known as X as Little Miss Obsession, fired off that tweet that made the streets go silent. Offset F Saweetie, do you really want to discuss husbands? Well, that was in response to Cardi B defending quote-unquote her man at the time after getting hit with weed and gun charges. So the internet was like, girl, who are you defending? Well, Quavo didn't confirm it outright, but his messy part might as well have been a Migos breakup as a creative split, and started quoting Quavo himself when he's rapping about loyalty. And loyalty that is exactly what everyone thinks got left bleeding out on that elevator floor. But it gets wilder, because just when fans thought that the tension between Quavo and Offset couldn't get worse, the 2023 Grammys proved otherwise. Sources at the show said that right before Quavo took the stage to perform Without You during the In Memoriam tribute to Takeoff, he and Offset got into a full-on physical fight. They had to be pulled apart backstage, and yes, there's a short clip floating around online that shows both of them being calmed down afterwards. Tribute. Quavo allegedly refused, blocking him from stepping on stage, and that's when things got heated. One camp swears it was Quavo who started the fight. Offset, for his part, hopped on X hours later to shoot a rumor down completely. "What the F I look like fighting my brother, y'all ninjas is crazy." But the fans weren't convinced. Many pointed out that at Takeoff's funeral months earlier, the two didn't seem to speak, make any eye contact, or much as acknowledge each other, even while both were giving emotional speeches. Someone tweeted, "Get your money and stay out of the way, bruh. Karma will do justice." The hope had been that Takeoff's death would end the beef, and instead it seemed to prove just how deep the cracks ran. Because if even grief couldn't bring them together, then maybe this was never just about music in the first place. Now, when Offset and Saweetie's rumors started running wild, everybody was waiting for Cardi B to come in swinging. But she did the exact opposite. She went radio silent, and that made people even more suspicious. It wasn't until her sit down with Jason Lee that she finally addressed the elephant in the room.
And you know that I was finding out that truth in and out. So it's like, if I entertain something that I know is not true on the internet, people be like, "Oh, it is true because you're addressing it."
She refused to confirm, refused to deny, and that chess move silence only fueled the speculation that she already knew the real story, but wasn't about to play it out for the blogs.
It's gonna keep going longer and longer and longer. And at the end of the day, I know what's going on in my house.
Well, and you have no problem picking up a phone and calling to clear the air. But that's why I love that. That's the growth. You know?
Translation, things were bad. She just didn't want to air her dirty laundry in public. Then came the Oscars after party tea time. Reports started swirling that Cardi and Saweetie had a very public moment at the Vanity Fair event. According to an eyewitness, Cardi saw Saweetie and went right over to her and started yelling, "What you got to say now?" It was real ghetto. Oh, child, the ghetto. Well, Saweetie didn't back down, but she didn't raise her voice either. She chose the icy demeanor over matching Cardi's energy. Saweetie tried to keep it classy, but she didn't back down either. Basically, Cardi was making a fool out of herself, yelling. But Cardi herself later jumped on IG Live, telling somebody over the phone.
You know me. I don't play that. But I'll call you later because I'm on live. I'll tell you all the tea on it later. Bye.
The same day, Saweetie went on IG Live to show off her millions of dollars of jewelry. So to fans, it was confirmation without confirmation. Now, Cardi might not have spilled the truth outright, but she made sure everybody had something to talk about. And Saweetie made sure that she had her power move online too. And in the beef this layered, sometimes silence is louder than any diss track. But let's get back to Quavo and how Saweetie's reputation plummeted after the first smash rumors hit the internet. When Saweetie was with Quavo, she was hip-hop's frosty girl. And the McDonald's collab, the Crocs deal, the Bratz campaign.
On that video game, she had the Crocs deal, she had the McDonald's deal, she had hella deals just coming back to back to back. She had the Bratz thing, she had her own cartoon.
Brand money was raining through, but post-breakup, the headlines started hitting a little different. The first came the get your lick back era, Lil Baby, paparazzi pics, and social media whispers, and Quavo's camp saw it as disrespect, and fans saw it as city grow energy, and the streets called it something else entirely.
Slore for being ran through by this nigga brother and homie.
I don't think slore is the right word. Homewrecker. You can say that. You
slaughtered home. And once you are promiscuous after being a wifey, you now lose your reputation. It's now, right? You know, like you're no longer as popping because right now we all view her as just an outright like whore, slore, right?
Then Chris Brown got messy dropping bars about their alleged fling while she was still with Quavo in his song Weakest Link. You the weakest link out to your clique, you F my ex-hoe, but that's cool. I don't give no F's cause I F'd your ex when you were still with her. They say revenge is sweet, now think about that ish. Oh, and Saweetie didn't deny it. But when Quavo clapped back on over O's and B's, she was quick to post DMs and fire off her own shots. The mess didn't stop there though. A blind item claimed that she's recently put hands on Quavo's baby mama, Erica Fontaine, after finding out he quietly had a child with her. This happening after the internet knew she'd slept with Offset? And through it all, Lil Baby, Chris Brown, Eric Fontaine, the common thread was clear. Every single move, every headline kept her name tangled right back into Quavo and Offset's orbit. Whether she wanted it or not, Saweetie's post-Migos chapter was never really her own. Sure, that's Saweetie's roller coaster, but the real plot here, the one lighting up the blogs right now, is the beef between the cousins. Because after months of icy silence, Offset's new Joe Budden interview just ripped the band-aid off of every old wound. The way that he was talking, it wasn't just about Stephon Diggs or a cause and effect, but about old history.
You have to deal with it in real time when you're looking at it. How do you deal with that? You just like, I'm a
human being. You see me say some sometimes. Yeah. You know what I mean? But then I just had to realize it is what it is.
No.
Academics commented on the podcast too, and here's what he said.
And by the way, I've talked to them. Yo, Offset done fuck, what is it? Saweetie, Krishan Rock, Ari, like, yo, this is, yo, Offset was piping out chicks that Cardi was supposed to do music with.
Now imagine Quavo catching Offset backstage somewhere still steaming with his truth-telling came off like it was a sly dig. No cameras, no Grammys, producers, nobody to pull them apart this time, just a closed door, a few heated words, and hands flying everywhere before security even realizes who's in the middle of it. Because this isn't just about a verse or a rumor anymore, it's about years of unspoken disrespect, about a brotherhood that went from diamond selling to dust, and about a name, Saweetie. that's still the grenade between them. Amigos reunion?
We want to see our career as a duo, you know what I'm saying? So we just stand on loyalty, you know what I mean? We stand on real deal loyalty. And, you know, sometimes that shit ain't displayed. And this ain't got nothing to do with no label, no paperwork, no QC, no nothing.
Well, let's just say at this point, people say it would take a whole miracle. The Cold War is cemented. And now with both men refusing to clear the air, the streets are left to fill in the blanks. But what do y'all think about this? Did Offset just poke the bear with that interview? Or is Quavo still holding a grudge he'll never let go of? And if this beef really is over Saweetie, was she even ever worth it? F2 best friends. She's a real bad chick, got her own drama. She don't need no tea. See y'all in the next one.